Good evening. I'm Dr. Greenbrier Almond, and thank you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. Each week over the past 35 years, we've been talking about this issue that I call the interface between Christianity and medicine. And one of the interfaces that is very important, I'm sure, one of the reasons that I was able to grow up as strong as I have been in Upshur County is character development. And so what better way to talk about that part of the interface of tender loving care than to have Principal Dr. Sarah Stankus. And you are the leader of the National School of Character, the only one in West Virginia.
Yes.
Union School.
Yes.
Wow.
Very proud.
Well, I'm proud to have you on.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Almond.
Yeah. And we also have Rachel Cunningham, your second grade teacher,
Yes.
art teacher.
That's correct.
And this is a very creative bunch of people here tonight and also out at Union.
Yes. We have a great team. We're very focused on that team.
Yeah. Now, character, we have seemed to have lost our backbone in a way in America. I mean, we seem to drift here, drift there, but no one is planning ahead. But you have a dream for your students and a plan?
One of the things that we talk about at Union is integrity first.
Okay.
And service above self, and then excellence in all that we do.
Wow.
And then we talk about what we believe every day with the students and practice that. So it's really phenomenal.
Now, as a doctor, psychiatrist, I'm always interested in growth and development, and at the top of growth and development is integrity or despair. I mean, when you get to be as old as I am, you either have integrity or you have despair. And but integrity is first. That's
right.
That's true. Wow.
Right. And our students really, they love talking about what they can do for other people. They come up with the greatest ideas. We're always amazed. Just this past week, one of the students said, how about we do a kindness challenge, a 30-day kindness challenge, and every day we challenge people to do one act of kindness.
Oh, my goodness.
And they came up with that.
Yeah.
And she had written all the challenges she'd like to do.
She was a fourth grader.
A fourth
Gee
grader.
whiz.
She came up
Is
with
that right?
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing, yeah.
Yes.
We need a lot more kindness, don't we?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we do.
And you, Rachel, you teach this and integrate it into your classroom?
We do.
About character
at
development?
our school, we've all have bought into the love and logic approach to teaching.
Okay.
And I've shared that with my students and with our parents. And I love it because it gives the children ownership and responsibility. And it instills a development of love and empathy towards others rather than entitlement.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy using the love and logic approach, and I see that there are great benefits.
Now, I think
with my
before we went on, you
children,
gave
with
an
the
example of a child that needed a little bit of concrete direction to be empathetic. Can you share that? It was the boot thing, I think.
With the fifth graders.
Fifth grader.
Oh, okay. Yes, the fifth grader.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when our students are having difficulties getting along with others, where they don't have the compassion towards others that we sometimes would like to have them be modeling or understanding, we will have that student maybe perhaps work with some kindergartners and button up their jackets or tie their shoes or just like a mini service project. And they don't mind doing that.
Right.
And while they're reaching out to the other students, whether it's being a buddy or doing those simple tasks like tying a shoe or helping someone that seems to be lost in the hallway, I feel that those types of acts and services help our students better understand the importance of having empathy and compassion towards one another. And it gives them a self of accomplishment, and I think they feel better about themselves.
Yeah, and I'm sure that little child, the second grader, is very grateful.
They are. And sometimes they turn around and they will reach out to someone else
Yeah.
and repay that act of kindness that someone bestowed upon them.
Well, that's
And
great.
I think the students, it's so amazing when they come up with that idea
It is.
themselves. And one of the things with the Love and Logic is that if you cause a problem, we ask you to fix it.
Oh,
it's not our
okay.
job to
Yeah.
fix
Right,
it.
clean up
So-
your own mess.
So we'll say, you've caused a problem, now how are you going to fix it? And often they'll just say, well, maybe I should go apologize to that person, or maybe I should write them a letter. One of the students recently had acted up on the bus, and he said, I'd like to write my bus driver an apology letter.
Wow.
And gave it to the bus driver that evening, and it was amazing.
Wow, that's great.
Yes.
Now, you also have a theme song for
Yes,
the school,
we
and we wanted to pick that up, but tell us, lead us into that, and then we'll listen to this song.
Well, Dr. Allman, you inspired us to do this kind of when you said, will you come and talk a minute on our show?
Uh-huh.
And so we started pulling all that we do at Union
Okay.
together on a video. And we wanted a song, a school song. And we had a student teacher by the name of Nina Hebb, and she's an amazing singer and
Okay.
songwriter.
Good.
And she wrote some of the things we believe in at Union down. And we have a fifth grade student, Destiny Babbitt, who is an excellent singer, and they put the song together, and then the school learned the entire chorus.
Yeah, I
So.
wondered if you had a professional singing it when I heard this.
Nina's husband, he's a policeman, and he's
Okay.
also
They could be
a
professional.
Could be
very
professional,
skilled
yeah.
Maybe they'll one
guitarist.
day.
So
Yeah.
he played the guitar, and
Okay.
Nina and Destiny helped us learn it.
Good. Well, we're going to hear the song, and then we're going to come back and see why Union really knows how to build character.
We the children, in order to form a more perfect union. Elementary school, we do the right thing. Do the right thing. It's the right thing to do. We the children. We want
What a wonderful song, and look at those kids' faces. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Yeah. Now, even you build character even when there's something that could be tragic. I mean, we just came through Superstorm Sandy, and that had all the markings of tragedy for us.
Oh,
but how did you make lemonade out of that lemon?
Well, one of the things that we did at Union, first during that storm, we took food from the Red Cross shelter out to our families.
Wow.
And delivered that to our families who were really shut in. And then when we
Like the
came,
National Guard or
Yes.
someone else helped you
Yes.
get through that snow and
well, we actually no, we actually got in our own cars.
four-wheel
and
drives.
yes,
Okay. Hey, these are mountain mamas here.
Then we came back as a staff, and our staff at Union, they're amazing. They just always look for ways that they can help our children reach out to others.
Okay.
And so we were talking about how can we help not only the children who suffered great tragedy during the storm, but also help the students realize how much those people that are helping our community right now
Right.
have sacrificed to be here.
Yeah, look at those power crews. I mean, what
Yes.
what a sacrifice, huh?
Right. Well, and that's where we headed.
Yeah, we
this-
wanted to have an opportunity to give back to the community and to let the children be able to express their feelings and their gratitude. And it was amazing. When the children returned to school, there were still several students and staff members,
Yes.
including myself, without power.
Right.
But it was just really nice to come back to school, come back together in that community. And there were some staff members, and one in particular, that had suggested that it might be a wonderful tribute or outreach for our children to write some it started out as writing just thank you notes or thank
Okay,
you
yeah.
cards, and then it kind of spiraled off into just decorating simple paper bags
Okay. Yeah.
and writing just little notes on the bags or pictures from the children, and just some candy was put in each bag.
Because it's
and-
Halloween time.
And well,
Yes.
Halloween time. good
Just
deal.
Halloween, sort of.
Yeah, and you know, just something
Uh-huh.
to munch on. You know, from hard candy to chocolate. Just a little something, a little thoughtfulness that the gentlemen could have with them
Yeah.
as they were out and about, working those long hours, restoring power. So a few teachers at school gathered up all of the bags and the
Cards.
cards that were put together by the children or
Okay.
created, and those were delivered
To the tents
to the
up here.
tents.
They had
Yes,
tents.
to the tents for
They
the
had a
men.
tent sort of at
Their
the edge of the schoolyard.
Supply up
Yeah,
here
the supply,
in the
yes.
parking lot.
Oh,
There
okay.
Were,
Yeah.
there were hundreds of trucks up
Oh my
here
goodness. Okay.
Yes, where they had the tents for the gentlemen to come to each evening.
Right. Okay.
to get their
okay.
supplies.
To get their supplies. And so some of the staff members delivered those items, and the gentlemen that were there, the people that were there, were really grateful and pleasantly
Well, that's neat,
surprised.
yeah.
And we know it meant a lot to them, but this past week when we came back to school, we had received a letter from
Okay.
a gentleman in Texas.
From Texas.
From
Wow.
Texas.
Okay.
Yes. And he and his son both work for the power company, and they were able to come here together to West Virginia to help restore our power. And anyhow, they were quite touched by the gesture from the children from our
Sure.
school. And so he had written this letter to the little girl whose name was on the bag.
Okay.
And he addresses it, Dear Taylor. And he basically speaks of how that one cold morning he's going to these tents and he notices these brightly colored and decorated bags. And he sees them among the nuts and bolts, he says. And he goes on to say how they stick out like flowers, and I love that. He says they stick out like flowers amongst the rocks.
Wow.
And he inquired
Yeah.
about them, and they're like, oh, they're for you, for, you know, the taking. And he said he wasn't sure why he was drawn to this one particular bag, but he was. And so he took the bag, and he said he enjoyed the candy. And he said, but the candy was just a small token. He said that it meant so much to him to think that a little child, the second graders and kindergartners and fifth graders, that they would take time out of their schedule and a busy day to create these gifts or these
Yeah.
tokens, these small tokens of appreciation. And anyhow, basically in the letter, he goes on to say that how he's a grandfather of 7.
Wow. Okay.
He has 7 grandchildren, and that he's 1,400 miles from home.
This sounds so similar to what when someone writes to a soldier,
Yes,
overseas,
that's true.
and the soldier is so touched because they have children back home also.
Yes.
So I mean, this is wonderful.
And these gentlemen, all of these workers, of course, were away from their family even
Yeah.
during Thanksgiving.
Right.
So he said, that it was just this small gesture touched him so greatly, and that it
And he
reminded
wrote
him
the-
of his
he wrote the
children.
letter
He
back.
did. He wrote
Yes.
the letter
Wow.
back, and just said how much that it warmed his heart on a cold morning, and that how that he goes on to say that just acts of kindness don't have to be big, over the top events, that they can be as simple as a decorated bag with a handful of candy. And he said, thank you, your new friend, Jack Price. And then he goes on to say, P.S., that he keeps his bag in his office as a little momentum.
Wow.
And,
Yes,
and he
isn't
even
that
sent some
amazing?
pictures back. And
Uh-huh.
it was
wonderful.
It just
That's
lets
great.
us know. I know,
Yeah.
and I shared it with some other staff members, because I actually, the letter ended up being sent to my classroom, and I shared with other staff members, and I know that we were all moved to tears. And
Yeah.
Right.
it's just to think that what we did meant so much.
Yeah.
It was just something small.
Small.
It didn't take
Yeah.
very
Now, and
long.
you mentioned your own being moved to tears, but the motivation behind this. What makes Sarah, the principal, tick, and your staff? What do you, when you wake up in the morning, what do you say? How am I going to build character, or I'm building on what I did yesterday? What do you say to yourself to motivate yourself every day?
Well, I think, and every educator and everyone that works with children, you understand how much and how easy it is to love children.
Oh yeah.
It is.
And when you work with children, and we always say, you can't make this up.
No.
The things that we go and we get to see every day, it's just
Yeah.
amazing. It's an amazing job. And we talk about how much we love our jobs at school, and how much we enjoy what we're
Yeah.
doing. Now, it doesn't mean there's not challenges,
Oh sure.
but it means that I think it's really important as adults that we do talk every day.
And we work really hard at our school to reach out to others.
Yeah.
Not just the community, but to one another. Like our staff is real supportive to one another. And we know that we can go to one another with our burdens or trouble. I know I've
Yes.
gone to people before and asked for, prayer. And we
Yes.
just encourage one another. And we also encourage our children. And we try to model
Yeah.
and model for our children at school.
And and someone is
encourage
always
them.
watching. I mean, there's a saying that I remember about character. What is character? Is what you do when no one else is watching.
In
Right.
fact, we have a poster at school.
Yeah, that
says
poster.
that.
Okay. And so you are modeling with each other if you have a concern, but there's a little eyes and ears watching you, aren't
Absolutely.
they? Yeah, and they're learning from you.
Well, and we have this saying that the students know, people of integrity do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Okay. Wow.
You don't have to have a teacher watching you all
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
We know that you know right
Yeah.
from wrong. So
Right.
And I
Now,
know
you
I've
had
said
3
that.
parts to this. We talk about integrity a lot, but the other 2 parts of your
service above self.
service above
Yes.
self. Okay.
And then excellence in all we do.
wow. Okay.
So that
And-
we're really going to work hard to be
Uh-huh.
excellent.
Yeah, and now this is remarkable too because Upshur County is a great place, and I love it. I spent my life here, but you all are the National School of Character. You went clear to San Francisco,
Right.
to be recognized. I mean, and people in California, it's a big state, and all the
Right.
states in between. I mean, you're number 1.
Well, we are really excited, and one of the things that we said just recently when we went back to Washington, D.C. to present to other schools is, we're not doing anything that
And this is a challenge and a help to the rest of our schools. I mean, I'm on the school board, and I know I go around and visit schools, and so I know that other schools are also saying we want to be like Union. I mean, you do. You're not on a pedestal in a sense, but you're just doing excellence every day, and then that spreads to other people that want to do excellence too.
Well,
And I know there are other schools in the county that are using the Love and Logic.
Yes,
Yes.
that's a good program, isn't
It
it?
is. It is.
Yeah.
and I think all the schools that made AYP are actually using the Love
Really?
and Logic.
Wow.
And we made that, our counselor, Kathy McCauley, she's amazing, and I think she's a big key to what we
She
do.
is.
She does, we have a kindness club,
Okay.
and
And that's how that little girl might have said, let's do acts of kindness, because
Yes.
she knows that's
Yes.
a good
Yes.
thing.
And that's a program that takes place after school. And the children spend 1 or 2 nights a week, and we have other staff members that help Kathy McCauley, our counselor, they stay after school.
Now,
and
one
work
time
with
when
the students.
we had a dean in the medical school, and he was from Texas, and he was talking about the difference between Texas and West Virginia, but he said West Virginians have an inferiority complex generally, but he said you have the wealth, more coal wealth than Texas has oil wealth, and you have, if you spread out the state, it's all crunched together with mountains, it would be bigger than Texas. But we don't think of ourselves
That's
as
what he
big,
said
do
in
we?
his letter.
But we need to be, patting ourselves on the back and encouraging children to think excellence, right? I mean,
Yes,
we're not second
absolutely.
to anyone.
Another example of service, Mrs. Scott, our first grade teacher,
Okay.
her class identified an issue in the community, and they decided that the city park needed some new trees planted.
Wow.
And so they were going to also build some bird houses and some bat houses.
And these are first graders.
First graders,
Oh, my
and they
goodness.
came up with this. And
Yeah.
then Mrs. Scott wrote a grant, a STEM grant, and she got $1,500 to actually do this. They presented to county commission
Uh-huh.
and their idea, and they were in agreement. Of course, the first graders won the hearts of the commissioners.
Oh, yeah.
And the mayor.
How could they
Right.
not?
They got a
No,
full
that's
stamp
right.
of approval on
Uh-huh.
that project. but
Wow.
They're going to do that, and
And then the birds are happy and the squirrels are happy, right?
we thought we'd leave the bats out, but the first graders
They
wanted,
wanted
the bat
bats.
house.
Yeah.
They
Bats,
wanted-
I think bats are necessary, aren't they, for the
Yes.
health of our environment? I mean,
Right.
in another way, they eat so many mosquitoes and things like that, and so.
But this same class, they're doing composting, and we're actually starting a school garden project as well.
Oh, my
so
goodness, okay.
Weyerhaeuser was good enough to give us some money for that. So really excited.
Yeah. Now, we always think of school as reading, writing, and arithmetic, but you're excelling in that too, right? I mean, not
yes.
this is all great stuff, but it's not fluff. It's really it's the meat and potatoes, but the kids are also learning what they need to learn to succeed.
Well, and one of the things, you want to tell them about our arts block?
Sure. We received an Innovation Zone grant.
Okay.
And for our Innovation Zone grant, we decided to start an arts block at Union Elementary School. And there's even been recent research that is showing that students will perform better in math and
Oh.
in science if they have access to the arts.
Okay.
So, and we'd also received an email notification from Rachel Hall, who works for the West Virginia Department of Education. And she had shared that also after we had applied for our grant and received it for our arts block about the importance of having the arts in school. So basically, we offer several types of activities that the children can select from.
Not just the teachers, the aides,
Yes.
everyone's involved.
Okay.
I want to say we probably have 15 or 20 current activities. Would you agree with
Yes.
that?
Wow. And
Yeah.
Arts meaning everything. I mean, you could
Anything
do
from
Exercise.
yoga to
Exercise, you could do
exercise
dance,
to
you could
yes,
do-
dance.
Yes.
We have
Anything.
singing. We have
Farming.
creative
Wow.
building through Legos.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But we have all of these different arts that we're offering the children, and it runs for about 8 weeks. They basically, each child is placed in one of those programs. It's one of the areas that they had an interest in. And once a week for 45 minutes, every teacher, staff member, aid. Everyone is involved, and we also
Yes.
have community members that are coming in and working
Okay.
with the children.
Mrs. Johnston.
Yeah, Mrs.
Felicia.
Johnston.
Oh, okay, yes,
Mhm.
wonderful
Dulcimer's
musician.
coming. Yes.
Okay, she's teaching the kids
She's-
dulcimer or playing
yes.
dulcimer.
Yeah.
Teaching dulcimer.
Wow, wow,
And,
Isn't that
and
impressive?
the children are excited. I know I had
Uh-huh.
a little girl come up to me today and she says, "It's Tuesday. Are we still having Arts Block?" And I said, "Yes, honey." I said, "Every Tuesday we're having Arts Block." And
Yes.
the children, they're
Uh-huh.
excited.
Yes.
And they're also getting to explore areas that they're interested in.
Mhm.
Not an area that's been selected for them, but something that's been offered and they're allowed
Right.
to
Yeah.
choose from.
Now, this is not your school, but I'm going to tell just a school. Well, I went up to French Creek School recently, and the little girl who opened the door for me, I thanked her for that, and I said, "What do you want to be someday when you grow up?" And she said, "A paleontologist."
Oh,
Wow.
And I said, "Wow, no one has ever told me that." Anyway, we went into the gymnasium area and dining room area, and there was there's dinosaurs on the walls. Someone has painted on the walls the arts. Anyway, the arts is translated into this little girl's bought this hook, line, and sinker. I mean,
That's
she's
amazing.
She's going to be a paleontologist.
And that is. That's
because of
wonderful.
arts. I mean, and that's she
And it
doesn't
is.
even know
She's-
there's a lot of science in that. She's
Yeah.
That's
gonna-
amazing.
but I'm
It
sure
is.
she'll stick to it. I mean, possibly she'll modify her path, but she's going in that direction now because of the
Yes.
arts.
But the children love it, and
Uh-huh.
they're
They do.
excited. And if we miss, they're concerned. I had some children worried about because we were off for this because of the snow due
Okay,
to Hurricane
right.
Sandy. They were worried about. Are we going to be allowed to make up that session? They did not
Wow.
want to.
They love
They
it.
know it's for 8 or 9 weeks.
8.
8 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and they were concerned because they do not want to miss
Might have
that
missed one opportunity.
session. They did. Yeah, they were worried.
That's great.
And
Wow.
so, but they're excited about it. They're thrilled about it, and it's easy to get the children lined up and sent off to each of the activities that they're involved in. When they come back into the classroom, we are able to come right back together and resume our classroom
Wow.
activities.
Well,
That's
I mean, when
wonderful.
I invited Sarah and then Rachel to come tonight, I had no idea how rich the character development process is at Union. But I really want to thank you, and I can speak for the community. You see the website where you can check it out later. Union School, and if this is a good example in our community of excellence. And I want to thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Almond.
Thank you
Rachel.
for having us.
Each week, also, I want to thank Channel 3 for this opportunity to come your way and talk about issues of tender, loving care. And by the way, this will be in reruns, so you'll get a chance to see this, and I hope that you do tune it in. Thank you.